It was raining, the kind of relentless gray downpour that turns city streets into mirrors and washes the color out of the world. My old sedan gave a final, shuddering cough and died in the middle of nowhere, just outside an old gas station that looked half abandoned, its flickering sign reading LCT on. I popped the trunk, cursed at the utterly flat tire, and realized with a sinking heart that I didn't have a jack. My phone glowed with a futile 2% battery and the dreaded no service in the corner. Perfect. Just perfect. Then a beat-up blue truck, its paint faded by sun and salt, pulled up behind me. Out stepped a man in oil-stained overalls and a baseball cap so worn the logo was unreadable. "Need a hand?" he asked, his voice gravelly but calm. I hesitated, my city instincts kicking in. I don't have any cash on me." He waved it off without a second thought. Didn't ask for any. He simply grabbed a heavy jack from his truck bed, knelt in the growing puddle, and started working. Rain dripped from the brim of his cap, but his hands were steady and sure, like this wasn't the first or the 100th favor he'd done for a stranded stranger. When I moved to hold the tire or help with the lug nuts, he just smiled, a warm crinkle around his eyes. "Best thing you can do right now is stay dry and hold the flashlight steady. Let an old pro handle the dirty work." 20 minutes later, the spare was on, tight and secure. I thanked him profusely, fumbling in my wallet and offering the crumpled bills I found. He refused, closing my hand around the money. "Just pass it on," he said, wiping his hands on a rag. "World's heavy enough without everyone carrying their own flats alone." Then he climbed into his truck, gave a two-fingered salute from the brim of his cap, and drove off into the curtain of rain before I could even ask his name. Months later, I was in the same area again, this time visiting a friend. Over coffee, I mentioned the kind man who'd helped me. My friend went quiet, her spoon still in her mug. "Old guy? Drove a blue Ford?" she asked slowly. "Yeah, how'd you know?" She nodded, a strange look on her face. "That's Frank. He used to run that station. He died 3 years ago, massive heart attack, right out by the pumps." I felt the air leave my lungs. That can't be. I talked to him. He changed my tire. She smiled, a sad, knowing expression. "You're not the first person to say that, you know. Others have said the same thing." I didn't know what to believe. Maybe it was a wild coincidence, a different man, my memory playing tricks in the rain. But before I left town, I found myself pulling into that same gas station. And there it was, near pump number 4, a small white cross planted in the dirt with a little weathered plaque that read, "Frank Daniels, he never passed by, someone stranded." I stood there for a long time as a soft rain began to fall, and for the first time in years, I bowed my head and said a prayer not for me, but for a man, who might have been a ghost, a memory, or something far greater, a lesson made flesh. Now, when I see someone pulled over on the side of the road, hood up or hazard lights flashing, I stop. I don't always know what I'm doing. My hands are not as steady as his were, but I hear his voice on the wind. Pass it on. And I kneel down, ready to get a little dirty. The world is full of ghosts who never left, only lingered long enough to remind us how to be kind.